Hello, the internet. Welcome to the very first episode of Revenge of the Killer podcast. And we are starting things off with a very fun movie. We're talking about 1997's WishMaster. And to start things off, I have a very special guest with me this week. The host of Hack's horror show, Tony Hack Covington. All right, we're going to get into this movie. We're going to talk about the people who made it. We're going to talk about our favorite parts. We're going to talk about our personal relationship with the film. But before we get into any of that, I did want to talk a little bit about first impressions. The first time I saw this movie was probably back in high school, and I remember seeing it on cable. I remember not liking it that much, and I remember not really, I just didn't give it much of a thought after that. And coming back to this and realizing, how little I knew back then and the horror pedigree that is in this film and the amazing practical effects that are in this film and just the insane sense of fun that is in this film, it's astounding to me, how wrong I could have been, and if I hadn't revisited it, I may never have realized how badass I find this movie. So maybe that's a little lesson to take before we get into all the fun and games. Maybe you have a film that you remember disliking and you haven't seen it in over a decade. Hey, give it another shot, Maybe you've changed. Maybe it's changed. It hasn't changed. It's a movie. It's just is what it is. But maybe you've changed, I just think it's worth looking into, especially in this weird time we're in of self-reflection and shit. But that's just my opinion. And, opinions are a lot like assholes. People enjoy looking at them on the internet. So with that being said, let's get into it. Tony Hack Covington of Hack's Horror Show joining me to talk about WishMaster. All right, everybody. We are here with Tony Hack Covington, and we are about to dive in to WishMaster.
Yes.
The very first one. I asked you what your favorite franchise was, and you said WishMaster, and I was curious about it because I don't know, I had this idea in my head that I'd seen all the WishMasters because I know I have watched them all before, but I think I had just decided that they were all bad. I think I probably watched them when they right when they were airing on cable or something like that. So going back and rewatching the first WishMaster, this is a solid fucking movie. This is the horror pedigree involved here, the makeup effects. I was so surprised and happy with just how badass I thought this movie was.
Yes, it's everything. It's a creature feature, it's a slasher, it's a monster movie. It is everything horror, every bit of it. Everybody automatically assumes my favorite's going to be something weird, something dark. And no, it's WishMaster. My left leg is covered in a giant tattoo of the WishMaster. I love him that much. Every day I get in the shower and I'm washing him, I'm like, I love you, buddy. It don't get any better.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to get something with that. We're gonna yeah, for the if the OnlyFans, that's when you get the legs out,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what movie I was thinking I saw because I maybe I just didn't appreciate what I was seeing at the time, but the pedigree of directed by Robert Kurtzman. And then, he's in K&B with Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger.
Yeah.
So you have all those guys in there. Greg Nicotero's doing second unit on this thing.
And you got Wes Craven involved.
Yeah. Even like I think he was like even like barely involved. Is like he lent his name to it and kind of gave them some advice on set like every now and then. I forget what else he was shooting at the time, but yeah, just like Ted Raimi is in there, Reggie
Yeah,
Bannister's in the movie, Buck Flower, Tony Todd, Robert England, Kane Hodder, like
Kane Hodder. That's what I was about to say. Kane Hodder.
yeah, it's insane like how many people I just recognized watching this movie that I just never like hadn't thought about like back when I
And
first watched it.
and that just shows how badass the Wishmaster is. His very first movie out of the gate, he kills Freddy, Jason, and Candyman. And the first person he kills is Ted Raimi. As soon as he kills Ted Raimi, and it's like, holy shit, we're off to the races. This is how
Yeah.
they're going to start this. I'm all in.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out like which Ted Raimi character to count, or like the weird like blown up sister from or was it the wife from Evil Dead 2? Is that who Ted
Yes,
Raimi plays?
yes, it is. Oh yeah, oh man, I was about to say the name. Yeah, he's in the costume, and when they turn him sideways, and you just see the sweat pouring out of the costume,
Oh yeah.
and you see the rip in the ass, they're just torturing him. He got it easy in Wishmaster, man. He just got a crate with the statue just dropped on him and crushed him right off the rip.
Yeah, I think they said it. They had him for like a day or something. He just came in like it'll be fast. We'll kill you quick. But yeah, he's just walking out yelling at the drunken crane operator Mickey. Mickey
And
Torelli, I think was his name.
yeah, and when I first seen Wishmaster, it was like my dad let me stay up, and we had a scrambler box, and at the time that's how you stole pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd watch Nightbreed, and Nightbreed got me going. I was like, okay, that was cool. And then I watched Wishmaster, and I seen him talk, and I'm like, oh man, that's the guy from Xena. I'm like, that's the little goofy guy from Xena. And they dropped the box on him and crushed him at the beginning, and I just watched the rest of the movie, and I was hooked from then. And I appreciate it even more now that I'm older. Like every time I watch it, I got pretty much the entire movie memorized.
Yeah. No, I try to like, especially if I'm not as familiar with something, I try to watch it a couple times just to like really familiarize myself with it. And like every time over the past few weeks that I've watched this movie, like it's been a lot of fun each time. I think the dude who plays the Wishmaster, Andrew Divoff,
Oh my
or
god.
plays him for most of the thing, like he seems to be just like relishing every. I love that actor anyway. Like he's
Yeah.
probably the best point of reference for most people is he's like the
Night Shift.
I Night Show, yeah, but also the he's the eye patch Russian dude in Lost. He's like
Yes. Yeah.
he like blows up Charlie underwater or something. Like spoilers, but but yeah, I don't know. I love it. There's even a shot like before the Wishmaster takes his skin, which is a great like face off kind of thing happening. He just puts the face on and you just see it like it's
And,
but for a second it's just this weird like it looks like bologna just on his face.
yeah. Yeah. It's like a piece of ham he's wrapping on. And, but if you notice through the movie when he reaches into the jar and he grabs the eyeballs, it grabs two different color eyes, and all through the movie he has a blue and a green eye.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even notice that. I like because the eyeballs come up like what is it? Oh yeah, that med school student that gets his eyes like
Sewn
turn like
shut.
shut. Yeah, whatever. Like the all the wishes in this movie suck. Like you don't even have to actually say I wish. The guy just has to be like, "Do you want to not see this anymore?" And you have to be like, "Yeah," and then he can just make your eyes go. And he gets your soul. Like that sucks. That's
Yeah.
the rawest deal from any genie or shit I've ever seen. But I love they established the eyes by having Like that med student is coming down a hallway and this other student just pops out with a jar of eyes. So it's just like a
Yeah.
jump scare with a big thing of eyeballs. So
What better way to lay pipe in a movie? It's like literally, here it is.
yeah. But yeah, I never I did like did not notice at all the different colored eyes. That's a really great touch. Like that's I mean, like something you probably get from like effects guys too, that are like, oh, we'll get some contacts with the eye thing going. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it because he has the monster eyes, and uh, he has to get the eyeballs in the face, but that's it. Like the rest of it just kind of does itself. Like you don't
Yeah.
seem like the whole bodysuit.
Yeah. So I guess I'm assuming like I guess he puts like your face on and then he can steal your form or something, but then
Yeah,
he can like switch back and forth because he's still that like alcoholic folklore professor lady who like steals
yeah,
her face at some point in the movie. You just see like no face chick on the bed. She looks a lot like it's like the full like Uncle Frank from Hellraiser kind of deal going on.
and and I don't know if this sounds bad on my part, but she was the only one who died that I had no sympathy for. I was like, I'm fine with that one. I'm fine with that one.
She seemed a little jaded, you know, maybe a little
Yeah.
boozy.
uh, his character through the whole thing, I think that's what really draws me in. Is not exactly when he is the monster, is when he's in the human form. Just how cool he is, and he's cool. He is the most cool villain ever, and it's hard to see him as a villain and root against him because he's almost like an anti-hero. It's like I would you could see yourself being this guy like just smoking a cigarette and like, oh yeah, and just mutilating people and walking off like it's
Yeah.
nothing.
That is one of the, like super like I was like, oh, it's very much a 90s movie because he's like indoors smoking cigarettes and shit. Like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, he's like constantly just like super cool and he has that weird that delivery, that way of talking.
Takes his time with it, and he's like, as you wish. And then the actual costume, man, like he's like built and he's covered in this fucking like body armor.
Yeah.
Like like you see him at the beginning wearing like the cloak thing, kind of like hiding, talking to the king there, and just what he's doing to all the people, man. And it's like straight up like monster movie you see at the very beginning, and then you get a
Yeah,
whip
yeah.
trapping him.
I love the like there's so many times where I see a movie that opens with like a bunch of text and someone reading it and I just roll my eyes and like, oh, you gotta like read me a short story before I can watch your movie and know what's going on. But I
Yeah,
like it's very brief. Like with the information it gives you, all the information is important to the movie. The text looks real cool and like old like English, you know. And then I mean the best thing was like realizing I think when I was rewatching it for the first time in years, like I was like halfway through, like that voice sounds really familiar, and I looked it up and it's fucking Angus Scrimm. It's the tall
yeah,
man from
yes.
in Phantasm. Yeah, I oh god, the pedigree on this movie alone is
Is
ridiculous.
is insane.
Yeah, I
It
love
is
that. And then
insane.
they get into it, and it's just this big, like right off the bat, just a festival of gore. There's that lady that gets turned into the tree kind of
Yeah,
thing, the snake dude,
the
that
snake man.
skeleton thing, that fucking skeleton shit.
That had to be a little like that was a little Evil Deadish, and I loved it. Just the
Just, like it's so
skeleton
bloody.
coming out,
It's
and then he literally walks over and kills somebody.
yeah.
And then you see him on a person's shoulder.
Yeah, you watch this full like he's like screaming and he also he dies in that specific way where he's holding his shirt like this, like, oh no, what's happening? But yeah, just the full skeleton comes out covered in like gore and viscera and shit. And I remember like one of the commentaries I saw, they were talking about being worried about the MPAA like being, you know, kind of all over that sequence because it's so
Yeah.
bloody and so violent. But like they never had a problem with it, and their theory is because skeletons are silly, and that's very
Yeah.
much true. It's hard to. There's never a moment where I've seen a skeleton in a movie and been like, I am terrified. Like they're always funny.
No.
They always remind me of like Army of Darkness, like those
Yeah.
skeletons. Like it's just goofy as shit.
And they did a little Army of Darkness when the skeleton like gets on somebody's shoulder and they look over and the head like turns into it.
Yeah, it's just somebody like with a fake skeleton like doing this.
In my living room, I have a coffin in the corner with that same skeleton, and it's literally like I pick it up and I can reenact it the exact same way with just me.
Oh shit! Yeah, we got to do like the Be Kind Rewind, like tweeted version after we've gone through all four.
Oh, I am down. I am down.
Just gotta figure out. I don't know how, because he like the Wishmaster has like these. They're not really horns. They're like kind of like tentacle things, but you can just see them like moving around like individually. Just the whole like. There's some scene where he's talking to the main character Alex. He's talking to her in that professor's apartment, and the whole time he's talking, right, I'm just paying attention to like these weird little.
They're like almost like a dog tail. They're just.
Yeah.
You can tell he's wanting to witch and he gets excited and they start wiggling more.
Yeah, if he's upset, they're just like real straight. Yeah.
When I got the tattoo, the guy made the horns and he almost made them straight. And I included that. I was like, no, wait. We got to add a little wiggle. We got to add a little wiggle to the bottom of this. And the color scheme, he's like, what's the color scheme? I was like, ancient body armor and like a cockroach color, brownish thing. Yeah. I was like spiral circles. So the tattoo, everybody's like, what is that? Is that a horn? Because in the tattoo, one of his tentacles, I got it waving. I was like, I got to get the little wiggle in there. And another thing, man, that surprised me is Wishmaster takes place in the same universe as They Live with Rowdy Piper, because the outside the drugstore, when the homeless guy gets kicked out and he's cussing and mad, the same actor in the exact same costume is playing the same part, the same role as he did in They Live.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. So that's Buck Flower, and Buck Flower is in so many amazing movies, and like he's one of those guys. He's like Dick Miller. He's in fucking everything popping up. That's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching this. It was like if I saw like one Dick Miller appearance, they would have had like horror cameo bingo. Like
it would have been the complete full circle. They
yeah,
should have had him walking in the background, sweeping the floor. Just Dick Miller just passes by, or
yeah, he's his character from Chopping Mall, who also I guess is his character from Bucket of Blood, like Walter Paisley.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a shitload of notes on this movie, but I did like just make a point of writing down some of Buck Flower's dialogue when because Reggie Bannister from Phantasm is like this pharmacy owner.
Yeah.
And Buck Flower, I love it. Like he's standing outside. And Buck Flower is one of those guys who just goes like full on into a character, but he is like this super like exaggerated homeless dude. I love his like the lady's like walking in the store and he's like, "Do you got any spare change? Hell, I'll even take $1. I'll take $5 if that's all you got. Oh, I'll catch you on the way out." And then he's just pressing his nose up against the glass. When Reggie Bannister's pharmacist character first comes out, the first thing Buck Flower says to him is, "You're leaving customers in there. That's bad business." That's
yeah.
What is I had to write down like everything he said to him when he's walking away yelling at him, because it like his insults, like it starts kind of low key and then gets real crazy and specific and then gets like even silly, like way more low key after that.
He reinvents insulting people.
Oh yeah. So he what does he say? He says bald-headed baboon, discomplected afterbirth of a Chinese gangbanger, and then educated idiot. Like educated idiot is a weird one to end on after that super specific. I don't know why the gangbanger has to be Chinese. Discomplected is probably the weirdest word in there.
Yes, they're like, how does he even know that word?
I love that they try to make Reggie Bannister's character, like for the few little seconds you see him, like an asshole. Is what it's. I guess not just that he yelled at the homeless dude, but when they cut back to him, when what is it? Well, you should only get cancer. Get cancer and die. Like,
Good.
So when they cut to him getting cancer and die, like he's in the middle of like just lecturing some random customer about like welfare and food stamps.
Yes.
They really like to hammer home that this dude's a prick right before, like for the two scenes you see him right before he dies of cancer, like immediate, like gets cancer and dies from it within 30 seconds.
Yeah. His facial expressions, the way he's delivering the lines, you hate him. You hate him. And that's the thing. Like you almost like root for the bad guy and like the people he's killing, and then it flips it back and forth on you. Like they had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah, I was just like bringing in like horror legends and killing them like. But Tony Todd is who is what's his character's name? Valentine.
Valentine.
I think that's like the second like James Bond kind of like stating your name that happens in this movie. Like earlier in the movie, I think it happens with after the Wishmaster is like taken his human form. I think he's what is it, Damarist, Nathaniel Damarist.
Yeah.
The writer was super into
that. Tony Todd, when he does the Johnny Valentine and he does the little snap, and he's like, "Can you remember that?" When they asked who did that too, the little cool James Dean style to him.
Yeah, Tony Todd is the shit, and I'm excited anytime I see him in anything. But he gets like the Houdini death. He's like, he gets him to like admit that he wants to escape, so then he puts him in like a water tank with a straitjacket.
And then he throws that out. He's like, Houdini did it in just a few seconds.
I was like, Houdini did it in under 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or what is it? I love Kane Hodder has one of the best ones because he
it's
like that asshole security guard at the I guess the gem appraisal place. I don't fucking know what you call that shit. But yeah, he's like there's like a weird kind of like Kane Hodder typecasting, like a what is it? Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. He has like he's not really Jason that much in that movie, which I'll get into in another thing, but he does have a scene where he's playing like a security guard and is a dick and then gets killed because he's being like a really smarmy dick. But yeah, he's like, I love his first he tells the Wishmaster he wants him to leave, so you watch him like uncontrollably like, no, I have to leave now.
In that second there, you're like, oh, Jason got one up on him, and you think for a second you're like, oh, Jason got it on him. Jason was the only one who didn't fall for his shit, and it forces him to walk away, and he's pissed because the Wishmaster hates people because he has unlimited power, but people control his power. And just seeing him walk away, it's so painful when he's trying to turn around. He's like, you son of a bitch, like he's mad. And then as soon as he says, I like to see that, you just see the light go off in his eyes. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, besides, to get in there, you'd have to go through me. And I would love to see that. And it's like, oh, man, you had to fucking say something else, didn't you? You and your weirdly straight beard line. Like, I love Kano. But yeah, and then he gets that crazy like turned into glass and then walked through and shattered. But I think it was I think it's that image, and then when Alex's sister Shannon gets like trapped in at the end of the movie.
The painting.
Yeah, like I think both of those were like drawn or designed or whatever by Screaming Mad George.
Yeah,
Is the makeup effects guy. He's done a lot of stuff on like Nightmare on Elm Street movies, a shitload of stuff with Brian Usna, the Reanimator movies. Society is like probably his
I love
mag.
Society.
But yeah, so I was just it's once again just that horror pedigree. Like I was I think just watching the credits or something, and I just saw like Screaming Mad George come up. I'm like, how is he also involved in this? How is
Yeah,
everyone involved in this movie? How have I not like known that everyone's involved in this movie and been talking about it for way longer? Like,
it's almost like fantasy booking. It's like, what if you get all these people in horror and put them together? What movie would they make? Well, they
yeah,
did that. They would make Wishmaster, and they did.
yeah. I love how like that. I think their timeline for it was pretty quick too. Like, I was like a pretty quick turnaround for like the writer was like not really into doing a genie movie, and then he read a little bit about it, so he was into it. And then Bob Kurtzman was not super into doing a genie movie, and then he read the script and was like, actually, yeah, this is pretty cool. But it was like mainly like really making sure to hammer home like what we think genies and jinn are or not, what's really going on. At the end of Kazam, like right after Shaquille O'Neal becomes a jinn, like this is the
Yes.
shit he's doing. He's like
Yeah.
killing Max's dad, and it's all fun and games when it's like raining snack fruit from the sky, but then
Yeah.
you're skeletons jumping out of your body, shit gets fucked up.
It gets bad. It gets bad.
And that's why I wish Shazam actually existed. That would have been a way better counterpoint. But
If they showed the other gens when they're trying to escape from the darkness and enter our world, if they just showed Shaq in there like pressing up against the wall, like make the third wish to free him, that would have been fucking amazing.
yeah.
I would have died. I would have died.
Cause the Jin just has like a boombox in the background. Like, I don't need to bring my brother. Uh,
It's and that's it, man. If they got anybody else but Andrew to play him, it would have been a completely different movie. And I don't know if we'll be talking about it now.
we'll get to 3 and 4 when we get there.
Uh, oh, two, two was fun. I like two. Two was fun.
I'm looking for. I haven't been jumping ahead. I wanted to like do these episodes and then watch the
Yeah.
next one. So I haven't been
Okay.
jumping ahead. I remember exactly one thing about part 2, and it's the lawyer scene. But other than that, I got like fucking nuts. So I'm excited to watch that one again, just knowing he comes back.
We will do the whole series, and trust me, as we go, 2 will be fun. 3 will be okay. 4, it will be me and you just drinking heavily, grunting like old guys, like, oh god, okay.
Yeah, just what the fuck is
So
happening? And this is why contractual obligations don't always make great movies, guys. Um, yeah, I'm just living in like the great moment of this movie. Like there are a weird I forgot. I think I made a note of it earlier, but there's another like horror movie like tie into this is when what is Robert Englund's character? He's like
he's the art dealer.
yeah,
He's
something Beaumont. I forget his first name.
yeah.
But yeah, right. Robert Englund gets to play like a really like erudite, like very like fancy regal kind of. It's such
Really
a different.
regal.
It's such a different character from Freddy Krueger, but it feels a lot like the kind of characters I probably would have seen him playing throughout his career, like had he not been Freddy Krueger. Like it's because like Robert Englund is not like someone you'd look at and be like, oh, he is a horror icon. That dude scares people. Like he's a little character.
Expect him to play. Yeah, you would expect him to play the Metro art dealer. That role. You would see him playing that way before you'd see him playing Freddy.
Yeah, it was great to see him like get to like do something. I mean, I'm assuming that was I think they say it was a large part of getting him on the door. It was like you don't have to like go through 8 hours of makeup. You don't have to like, torture it, but like you can just deliver lines and be a character. Great to watch him like stretch his legs and do that. But he's taking Alex through his exhibit, I guess where the statue that broke in the oh yeah, like the what is like the back in Persia, like in the opening scene, like they trapped the jinn in a like a fire opal or something. What was I feel like I wrote the name of that thing
It
down.
was it's like it is a fire opal that the wizard makes and locks him inside.
Oh, yeah, Stone of the Secret Fire. That was it.
Yes.
But he's so that thing is like in the statue when it breaks, and then some like I don't know, big Hoss McGraw looking motherfucker like picks that shit up and takes it to the pawn shop. But he's walking through this room of statues, like where that statue would have gone, and he talks a little bit about maybe the origin of the Jinn. He mentions like some specific like obscure god, and then he says something about like the Jinn is maybe like the shadow self of that god or something. It's like a real quick like it's only the kind of like exposition I think you could get away with like Robert Englund saying it. Like it.
Yeah,
I feel like
it was.
Yeah, if you had a worse actor that like tried to deliver all this dialogue, but just there's something about him that I just want to hear everything he's saying anyway, like whatever he's in, like even like bit part professor and urban legend, like it just tell me everything about this movie. But when he's walking through that room of statues, like in the background, one of the ones they pass by is Pazuzu from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the giant penis on it like it did, but
but it is from The Exorcist sitting there, man. That's the other little cameos just tossed in.
Yeah, and I just I always love like just those little like the ones that don't even call attention to themselves. Like I haven't gotten into any of the Halloween movies yet, but they're Halloween H2O. There's a great like there's a little Cenobite just like hanging out on a porch and like an early scene in there. It's just that shit where you're like, wait, was that? No, that'd be weird. There's no way it was that. Or back to Jason Goes to Hell, like the full on Necronomicon from Evil Dead is just in that movie. It's just hanging out. Like
and like in Evil Dead, when you see like the Jaws poster like ripped on the wall, like you see that stuff, man. That's the best. Like all those Easter eggs, man. But with Wishmaster, there's so many Easter eggs. It's literally an Easter basket. Like
it seems like this. I don't know. This is like one of those movies. Like this was no one's like dream project or anything. Like no one spent like years like working on like this is my movie about the Jinn and this is good. Seems like everybody was kind of like work for hire or like very blue collar about the whole thing and just having fucking fun with it. Just like, all right, so we're doing a Jinn movie. Like, okay, what can we do with wishes? Like, how can we kill people with this kind of shit with the money and the time that we have? Because I will say it is very much like it's not a super high budget movie. There are definitely times where you can kind of like I think feel the budget a little bit. Like it has some like and it's also just very 90s. Like there's something about the 90s that just had like even movies that were like shot on film and theatrical just have like a straight to video quality to them. Like I don't know what the fuck is happening. Constantly.
The piano wires that rip the people apart. That's like
that's the director too. That's Robert Kurtzman getting the like piano wire on him.
Yeah.
He had like the ugliest fucking suit. It's like blue and yellow. He has a little bow tie.
Somebody was having fun that day. They're like, we gotta put you in this. We gotta have you wear this.
Yeah, it's just so like when he's done with those scenes, then he has to go be like authoritative, but he's still like in a like a yellow and blue bow tie.
And he probably yelling at somebody like, "Listen to me, damn it, I'm being serious." Like, just dress like a pimp.
Right. It's like, don't make me take my bow tie off. I will do it. like I'm interested in like one thing I loved about doing the whole like franchises with friends was like having people on, seeing like what franchise they love the most, and then talking to them about it, going through it with them. But also like I'd like to hear a little bit like if you remember like anything about the first time you watched this movie, or just a little of like whatever your
Oh yeah.
history was like getting into this thing.
Mm,
Like take me through like a young hack. He's sitting there,
yes.
he's watching. Did this movie come out in theaters? I feel like it did for a little bit, but did you see it in
Yeah.
theaters or did you see it at home?
No. No. Young hack, man. Staying up late, of course, because it's like it's Monday night, and Monday nights I could always get by with staying up late because I didn't ask for anything. I was like, but Monday Night Raw comes on, let me watch it. And of course, stay up late. My dad was the only one who would let me watch any monster movie I wanted. He's like, oh yeah, he can watch it. It's fine. Mom, not so much. Like I was watching The Crow, and my dad changed the channel. My mom was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "That was Batman." She's like, "Oh, okay," and walks away. But like I said, I watched Nightbreed, and it like Dr. Decker scared the shit out of me. None of the monsters did, just him scared me, and I was spooked, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know about horror movies because that was really scary." But then the Wishmaster, like I said, we had the scrambler box to descramble the cable channels, and I watched a little countdown to it, and I seen the little trailer, and I was like, okay, I want to watch this. And my dad's like, yeah, me too. So I'm watching this, and that's what I remember first watching it was at the very beginning of it was seeing Ted Raimi, and I'm like, oh man, that's the guy from Xena, the little skinny guy from Xena, and just gets crushed with the box. And Robert Englund, you see him on screen, and you instantly, whenever you see Robert Englund, it don't matter who you are, you automatically you see Freddy Krueger. And I'm like, oh, that's Freddy Krueger. And as I'm watching it or whatever, like I'm getting into it. But then when I see like the Jinn and he starts talking, especially when he takes a human form, that's what drew me into him. I was like, this dude is the coolest dude ever. Like, how is he the bad guy? Because he's like smoking the cigarette, making quick little jokes, and he's just destroying people in the worst way imaginable, and taking their souls. And the whole time, it shows their souls. Like he's torturing them the entire time. Like he don't just have their soul just sitting there. They're
Yeah.
being tortured, and everything he's going through, and I thought he was the coolest. And then watching him, I'm like, oh man, he just killed Candyman. I'm like, oh man, he just killed Jason. Oh, he just killed Freddy. And he's so coy about it. I'm like, he's just wiping out everybody right off the rip. And I'm excited. And then he's talking, and I always thought he was the coolest because every horror movie villain, there's a way to kill them. You can kill them. He can't be killed because Alex, she's like, I want you to blow your brains out right now. And he just pulls out this big magnum, and he's like, bam, and blows his brains out. Then it just instantly comes back. And it's hilarious because he's like, you can't kill witches eternal. But if it's any constellation, that hurt like hell. Like, and just the way he's playing with people, like when he goes to the jeweler, and they're doing the appraisal, and he's talking to him, and he just swipes he puts his cigarette to the side, and he just swipes his little thing. Now let's go, and he pours out diamonds. He's like, how do you like that, or whatever. Or you see him at the basketball game, and he's like borrowing a cell phone, and he's just like staring. Then you see the really creepy smiles, and he's like, and you can see the monster through that human form, man. And that's what just got me, because he wasn't wearing a mask and like walking around with a machete. He was a dude in a suit smoking a cigarette, just walking around. And I thought he was like the coolest dude ever. And then when he takes his monster form, he's this big built genie with like all this body armor, and you can't kill him. And he knows this, so he's just a smug ass about all of it. And Yeah, when I was a kid, I watched it one time. I was hooked. So I watched it like 10 more times, and I watched it over and over. I've probably seen the movie probably 10,000 times. It never gets old. And all the stuff in it, man, like from the very beginning, the one construction worker that's drinking, he spills the stuff, he breaks it, and he just shrugs his shoulders like, just killed a guy. Whoops, like grabs his helmet like,
Yeah,
oh
it's like,
no.
oh,
The
drunk
other guy
ass
like,
maybe.
and then you see like Nitro, Sabretooth from the first X-Men, like just stealing the ruby and goes and pawns it. It's like and just how they like all the other actors, like not Alex, but some of them, it's kind of like they were just hired, and you see them that day, and they're like, "What are my lines?" and they're just saying them. And then all the horror icons in the movie that I noticed, and I was like, oh man. And then like the internet was still brand new, like there's this magic box, and I was like, I can just see boobs on this and rotten.com. Oh no, sorry man. Sorry. You could see like boobs on it and like rotten.com, and then I discovered you could find other things on it, and I was like looking up everybody that was in this movie, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I'm telling my friends, and nobody's seen the movie. Nobody that I know is like, they're like, what is that? But it's something that it stuck with me for so long that I didn't have any. I got a lot of color tattoos now. Like I got like the Toxic Avenger, and I got a big like Crypt Keeper and other stuff. But the very first like big huge tattoo I was gonna get, they were like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I want the gin." And of course, my tattoo artist, Michael, he's like a genie, like like Aladdin. I was like, maybe, but no, not that. And I sent him pictures, and the pictures I could find were like all from the first film. And I was like, I need all of these on it. And I sent him all these different ones, and that was the first like big tattoo that I got, and I loved it, and I was so proud that day because I was like, I love the Wishmaster, and here I am at Days of the Dead in I think I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm just limping around with like I cut off my shorts, so I had like half shorts on. You just see me with this big genie tattoo, and I'm so proud. And I'm like limping over because I won't sit down. And I walk over to like Kurt Angle, and I'm like, I walk up to Kurt Angle. The first words that come out of my mouth, I'm like, "Hey Kurt, what do you think about my Wishmaster tattoo?" And he's like, "Do you just get that?" I'm like, "Yes. Tell me you like it. Please have you say." He's like, "I love this," and I was like, "That's all I need." And that was the first one. Like my wife, she's like, you all your tattoos are just black and mostly writing. Like I'd be like, okay, something like Outlaws with Chainsaws, but then I just went on this big spiel about the Wishmaster and made her watch it, of course, and then also made her suffer through the other ones. Because that's how dedicated I was. Like even though like 3 and 4 like wasn't my favorite, I was like, it's still the Wishmaster. I still can't hate on him. Like that's my guy, man. But that first one, when I was a kid watching it, man, it blew me away. I watched it 1,000 times, and it was a month ago. I just watched the movie again. Like my wife never asked me, "Hey, what do you want to watch?" Because I'd be like, "Hey, we'll just watch Wishmaster." Like it never gets old, and it brings back all those things that it has so much nostalgia in it, and it just takes me back to the kid just staying up late in the living room watching this movie. And it like I said, like it being it's a creature feature, it's a monster movie, it's a slasher, and it's horror and it's comedy. It's every movie wrote into one, with like all these icons just popping up doing shit all over it, man. And it's just, I don't think it don't get any better. It don't get any better. Not for me anyway.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was I don't know what exactly I was expecting like going back into it, but I had so much fun with it. And it's one of those movies that like looking into the background of it or the production of it or any of the like behind the scenes stuff or commentaries or shit, like it's all been like a lot of fun to learn about. Like I know when you mentioned like you know, the Wishmaster being a badass who's like killed all these other horror icons, like that does come up in some of the behind the scenes stuff where I think Andrew Divoff talked about like hanging out with all the guys on set, and you know, somebody would bring up like, oh well, like, but could Jason, you know, who's tougher, like Jason or Freddy or Candyman? Like just trying to stir the shit up and get everybody like
Yeah,
with each other. And it seems like I just imagine just being on that set. That must have been so much fucking fun. I mean, you just have all these like icons everywhere, and you're just all hanging out, like making a goofy Jin
yeah,
movie to be like bloody and fun. And it's one of those movies that like it really like relishes like the makeup effects. And there's like even
yeah.
like when real quick deaths are happening, like that, what is it that some girl who I forget what, it's that party at the end, but she says something and then she starts turning into glass and then like explodes, and then
Oh, right from her hand.
yeah, this
Yeah,
this dude gets like hit with shards of glass and it knocks part of his face off, and it's like first like a really quick shot, but they make sure to go back and show you some of the like you know. Or Howard Berger plays like a security guard towards the end, and he gets like he's one of the like super elite security that get fucked up by those statues that come to life. He's the one who gets like the mace like right in the face that
yeah,
like flattens his shit. They make sure to show you like that flattened shit. Like they know how to shoot effects and how to make effects look good, and also just already made the effects. Like it's uh
and so many movies are just missing those practical effects now. Like those little things right there. Like I miss them in movies. CGI is cool, but like it's almost like watching cartoons because it's so computer animated. I'm like, no man, just make me a costume and like blow it up and make blood and shit fly out of it. Like give me those practical effects back.
yeah, especially if you're doing like blood and shit. Like I've gotten a lot softer on CG that I used to be like very hard line, like no digital stuff in my horror movie. But I like I draw the line at digital blood. If you can't get like real blood on your movie, then I don't even know what the fuck we're doing here. Like what?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so just getting to really, like, there's something about just seeing it, like knowing that it's there, getting that texture on screen, and that also just realizing like what cleanup must have been like after all these setups.
It had to be both the party scenes had to be like the most awful thing to clean up, and also if they had to like reshoot or set back up, that had to be the longest days ever just doing that.
Yeah,
And I
great idea. That like I love the like the beginning and ending with like you're kind of this big crazy like let's fucking kill a bunch of people at a party set piece.
and man, I love just Andrew. Like I watched an interview like when he did the movie, and he took it so serious, and you see him like smoking the cigarette, talking about the character and how it should be, and I'm like, that's why the movie turned out so good, because some of the guys might have just been like phoning it in or just be like, hey, we're working on a cheap monster movie. He was like Daniel Day Lewis, man. He was like he was the monster in this movie. Like he dove completely in, and it was kind of one of the first movies that I got to see where you got to see the killer without the makeup. You got to see that part of it because it was always in a mask or the monster, and you didn't get to see the actor at all. He was the first one to be like the actor and the monster at the same time.
Yeah, like getting like both of those things. It's usually you have to go like one or the other. Like it's either like the full like makeup deal or mask or whatever, or it's like the killer is just that person, I guess. Or
Yeah.
uh,
he's almost playing like two roles, but like even out of the costume, you still see, you know what's behind that, like, and you still feel it and you still see it, and then those facial expressions, the whole thing. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
the coolest
his way of
monster ever.
speaking.
It, like when he killed the homeless guy and he picked a cigarette up and he looked at it and he took a puff and he's like, "That's all right." He's like, "I keep doing this." That was
Yeah.
the coolest thing.
I like, God, the wishes. I think maybe the one that I felt the worst for was, I don't know, like the super like the dude who owns, I don't know, Alex's boss, Nick, I think was his name. He like
Yeah.
owns whatever that place is where they just take in like gemstones and shit. Um, but he's like, I think his was pretty fucked up where he like wants $1 million and the Jin's like, yeah, all right. And then you see his mom filling out the $1 million
Yeah.
insurance plan, and then her plane immediately she fills it out right before she gets on the plane, and then it blows up. But I think honestly the one that I felt the worst for was probably that woman working in the clothing store, like when he goes get
Oh.
she wants to be beautiful forever, so he turns her into a mannequin.
Yeah.
But then like when he's like doing the thing with the opal, yeah, when he's got that thing and he's like doing his, like he's summoning all the souls to get a bunch of power or something, like you see what happened to the mannequin girl, and the mannequin has
Yeah.
been like stripped naked and stuck in like a storage room. Like,
Yeah.
so that means that like one of like her boss had to come over and be like, I can't believe Ariella like just put her clothes and name tag on this mannequin, and I'm assuming just left the store nude.
Yeah.
Employees are always doing this. I hate it, but we have a protocol. Let's get those clothes in the incinerator, get that
Yeah.
mannequin back. Like it's I don't know. It seems like it's not really living up to like like, did she really get to be beautiful forever? She's like a
Yeah. Or is he gonna
mannequin that's not
away?
even like floor worthy. Like she's like hanging out in the stock room, you know?
And it's like, are they gonna throw her away? Like, oh, we don't need this mannequin. Just throw it in the dumpster. But that mannequin, like the little things, like it's literally showing a mannequin head and the eyes roll back in it.
Yeah, or I think
Thank
does she have a
girl.
moment with like the single tear or something?
Yes,
Like,
and I'm thinking about her like when I'm watching that, and to get emotion out of me from a mannequin face with these plastic eyeballs rolling backwards. When they rose, like, oh man, I felt so bad for her.
yeah, she's just
And
trying to work a job, sell some clothes, being a little thirsty, just like, do you want to try any other suits, something tighter?
yeah, and of course he's in a clothing store and he's like still puffing a cigarette inside there because you could smoke in J.C. Penney, I guess.
Yeah, just anywhere he goes, he's
And he could have easy just pulled out money and been like, here, and bought it. He's like, no, fuck you. uh, his whole thing is kind of weird. Like when he comes out of it, he's kind of like all puny, and then he just got to get other stuff to get bigger, and then he's got to collect to get stronger. Like,
yeah,
he's got just to keep him going, man, or he goes all to hell.
Yeah, so that's one of the other like weird, like just random people in this movie. But the like when you first see the Jin when he comes out of the Opal, after where like Alex's friend Josh, the friend zone dude, is like scanning the Opal for her, which by the way, it's that shows up a lot in movies where it's like this is like this chick's best friend, and he's like, but shouldn't we like start fucking?
Yeah.
I never get that. Like I don't know. I have friends that are like platonic friends and women, and that's never come up. I've never been like, we are just good friends and have been good friends for years, and we play tennis regularly, and I think we should start I, I don't know. I feel like that dude put himself in the friend zone, and he shouldn't be so weird about it. But
No.
he's scanning the Opal, and then it blows up. And and then you have little like baby Jin coming out, but little baby Jin is played by Vern Troyer,
Yes.
fucking mini me, and he looks
Yes.
like the mutant from This Island Earth. It's ridiculous.
it, um, oh man, it's so great when you talk about Alex and the friend zone guy.
And
When he took
Josh, I
the
think.
yeah, yeah, when he took the ball cap off and he like put it on her head and she looked like she was from the Sandlot. I was like, that ball cap is why you're in the fucking friend zone, man.
Yeah. And then he's like running his hands on her. He's like touching her. I don't know. I mean, maybe people do that. I don't do that. I don't. People don't really do that to me very often. Like it's. I don't. It just seems weird. It's a weird move. Like, let me cup the under part of your cheeks. Let me just like give you one of these.
And then of course he does not open the doors to his convertible. He jumps in. I'm like, yes. In your red convertible, you're gonna jump in. I'm like, you motherfucker. I'm like, that guy should. It was like. I was like, that part for him, I was like, what the fuck? They threw everything, like the ball cap, the friend zone, jump into the convertible. I'm like, why in the fuck would you ever date this guy? Like, I don't want them to be in love.
Like, yeah, I don't even really know what he does. Like, because she takes the opal to him to like use like a spectrometer on it or something. I think he works at a college, maybe. There seems to be a lot of people working at a university. I don't know if she works at the university or not. She might also work there.
Well, she's like the basketball coach, and then like
she's
liaison.
Like she appraises like I guess she works as like she appraises like fancy old shit, and then also is like a middle school girls basketball coach. I actually the main message of this movie is stillness, you know, and that's it's crucial. It's crucial to basketball. It's crucial to battling evil Jin, you know. Stillness. Yes. Stillness is it's the through line of the movie. Like she mentions it to the girls. She's like, the key to basketball is stillness. Just fucking just don't even move. Just stay still.
And later on, she's like, I always tell my girls stillness. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, one of the girls like she shoots a basket or something, and she comes in. She's like, stillness. It's just what you told me. And then at like the very end of the movie, she's trying to think of what to say for her final wish, and then you just keep hearing that coming through her head. Stillness. If this movie has one message, it's stillness.
Yes.
If you want to run around the court, you want to shoot the balls, you got to just stay still. That's I don't. It seems like terrible advice for basketball, but probably pretty good advice for dealing with an evil shit. I did like the way they worked that out. Like her wish is that crane operator wasn't actually
clever
on the job, so the thing never falls, so he never gets it. And I like usually I don't know, there's such a thing with like I just have a thing with movies that do this, like, you know, everyone who died didn't actually die, everything that happened didn't actually happen, take it all back kind of thing. And this movie does do that. It does, like, she makes her wish and then everyone's fine. But it was like, normally when I see that, my reaction is fuck you. Like, I'm so mad when that happened. But it didn't bother me at all in this movie. Like, I think I know a lot of it is because of like we had so much carnage candy and watching terrible shit happen to these people. And also a lot of the like the wishes weren't really wishes, and there's no way Nick got that $1 million, an insurance settlement, and he dies later that day. Like, there's no way he got to touch any of that fucking money.
No.
So actually, you feel a little better. Like, all right, good. Buck Flowers is still hounding around for change, and that idiot med student has his eyes back. You know, hopefully that Johnny Valentine escapes in a different way. You know.
Oh man, I couldn't have said it better. But the ending, I think what makes that okay, because I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, it never happened. The end of the movie when it shows the statue, and it goes in and
Oh
it
yeah,
goes to
he's still in there. He's like, all right.
fucking pissed off, and you get close to him and he's like, fuck off. Like, he don't say that, but he like snaps at you like, because he's mad about what happened, because he knows what happened.
Yeah.
And he's back inside the gym there, and he's like just pissed off, and he's like, fuck off. Like, that's the end of the movie, him just snapping at you like, fuck.
Yeah, I love the inside of the Opal too, like where he lives, like how spacious it is, and there's hallways. It reminds me of
It's
I don't
home. He
know.
has pets.
Yeah, he has a fucking dog or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote, yeah, that's one of my notes somewhere. It was like, the Jin has a dog. Where did he get it? I guess he
has a recliner. He has a recliner and a dog. He has a bachelor pad inside that thing.
I was say the inside of that thing reminds me of the Predator ship from Predator 2, like when Danny Glover goes on there. But if it was set up like some kind of weird, like Asian inspired underground sex club, like that's kind of the vibe I got from the design and all the red lighting, and it's spooky in here. It's also kind of sexy. What's happening, Jin? What are you doing in here?
And the way he's torturing them is all kind of like little S&M, little bondage thing. Everybody, the way they're tortured, I'm like, their shirts are off.
When they quickly show everybody trapped in the Opal, like the souls and everything he got, I just thought of Event Horizon. Like that's how they showed like everyone like trapped in hell, like real quick flashes. We can't show you a lot of it.
I'm like, this is like, I'm watching this. I'm like, man, this is like the fetish club going on in here. And he's in his recliner. He's got the dogs and shit, man. Like, and then somehow he's outside of it, and he's looking in at her. Like, he's inside and outside at the same time. Like,
oh yeah. When he gets her, like, it does. Yeah, like, God, wishes in general with this dude are so fucked up because she like wants to know about him, so that he traps her in the Opal. He's like, I am this thing and this thing is me, so to know me you need to be in this. And then she's like, well, fuck. And then he's like, well, you can wish to be out of it. And then she does, but now she's down to one wish. Like it.
And they don't even have to be a wish. You just be like, I would like to see that, and he's like, done.
Yeah, or he could even just ask you, like, he'd be like, do you want a sandwich? And you say yes, and you'd be like, oh, the sandwich is gonna eat you. That's your first wish. You're like, fucking, this is what are the rules here?
Yeah, it's like it's a huge stretch. Like you literally can't say anything around him, or like, I feel like if you just eyeballed the sandwich and you just raised your eyebrows like you were interested, he'd be like, oh, he wants that. He's like, I'll take it. That counts. That counts. I don't know where the darkness, evil, gym power comes from.
Is that what happens? That's the fourth one. It's like people don't even ask for things, that he just bumps into people on the street. And it's like, oh, you trying to die?
Yeah. I swear, whatever that power comes from, he's like, that counts. I can do it. I'm like, it's like he's restrained, and you see that with the Kane Hodder thing. Like, he got told no, and he had to turn around.
Yeah, that is maybe like the funniest scene with just Andrew Divoff by himself. Like, just his like stiffness and it. What? No.
And he's turning so painfully. He's like, I gotta go in there. He's like, please say literally anything so I can turn this around on you.
Yeah, I love it. The movie, like, I think acknowledges like like an inherent goofiness to like any kind of like genie or Jin thing. So it seems to really embrace it. Oh God, I keep forgetting. Like there's like one thing in this movie that I always fucking forget about it happening until it happens. But like toward like that, the party scene at the end, like all the statues come alive, all the medieval statues, and they're killing everybody. But then like some like Jack the Ripper shit comes to life, and fucking Jack the Ripper shows up for like once. He's like just crazy and like screaming, and he has his little thing and kills like some random person. We never go back to that. We never. It's such a weird. It almost feels like they had 5 extra minutes in the movie, and they're like, "We need to put something there."
They were sitting at a table, and somebody mentioned about everybody that's in the movie, and one guy's got his hand behind his back, spinning a chair. They're like, "Fuck, man, we got everything but Jack the Ripper," and somebody's like, "Let's just fucking do it, man. We got everything else. Like, let's throw him in there."
Yeah, it's like we got some extra mutton chops laying around. Fucking let's do it.
Like they're filming a little thing for this high school thing with Abe Lincoln, man. We just get that shit and what art dealer has a portrait of Jack the Ripper? Like, what picture?
Like, I thought the whole thing was that we didn't know who Jack the Ripper was. How did you get a picture of him? Like,
yeah.
Who's set for that picture? That's probably the dude. That's like having Zodiac's bus pass. You're like, how did he even sign up for this?
And that's when that's when it's a badass party. Like, dude, like Jack the Ripper's here too. Like, like you knew everybody was dying. Like, or like Jack the Ripper. Like, that might be the sweetest cameo in the entire movie.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's in there. It's like I made a note of it earlier because it's like I was like rewatching the movie and like I realized that I was really surprised by it the first time it happened and then just forgot that it happened and then watched it again and was like, wait a minute, Jack the Ripper's in this movie. Like just for a second, he just jumps out, kills some nameless dude. He's really theatrical about it, and then it's just off to other stuff. Like it's like all those little scenes of like just drive by random shit.
His teeth in that movie, Jack the Ripper's like smile, kind of like stayed with me because my wife got me to watch From Hell the other day.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Depp, Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And then I just remember when the guy was there, I was like, I thought he had like big teeth. I'm like, am I thinking of a really old like black and white horror movie or? And it's that's what I was thinking of with the teeth. I was like, it was from that.
The ultimate Jack the Ripper depiction is actually. Oh man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just in general, I was making notes for this movie. I'm making sure I don't have anything like super crazy in here that I've forgotten about. Oh yeah, shit. The fucking the detective, like the detective is talking to him. He's trying to get Alex's address or whatever, and like the detective's randomly like that motherfucker over there. If I could just get him dead to rights. So then Shin like makes this dude just shoot a couple cops, and then oh god, what was it? He like he's like a Stephen Wright looking dude, and he oh yeah, he shoots 2 cops, and then there's another one. He like grabs his jaw and like rips it off. Like it's a real quick little like real nasty like just jaw rip effect. And then, oh yeah, then he does the bullet dance because he's getting shot up. The like
he takes the 9.
Oh god, I'm getting shot so many times. Like
and he's still standing. It's like.
It's always super rhythmic. Yeah, it's like they hit him over here and then over here so I can get this motion. They never spin in little circles, you know.
No, or just like shit, get hit and like fall. I feel like one time I'd instantly hit the ground and just be dead. But
yeah, nobody ever just like like the entry wound is real small, the exit wound's real big, and then they just immediately shit themselves and die. Like it's it's now that I say it out loud, I get why they do the dance. It probably looks a lot better on film.
Oh man, it was perfect because I swear, like he was like, "Oh, you want him dead to rights?" And he didn't even use any like power. He just like probably just filled his body full of meth, and it was like boom, instant. And the guy's like killing everybody, still standing. And then you feel like he's like, okay, he can die now, and he lets him like fall over and die.
Yeah.
Because bullets and does the bullet dance, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm still fucking standing." Like, like he's still gonna keep fighting. Like the guy was surprised by it. Every campy thing ever is thrown into this movie, but in the best fucking way.
Yeah. It very much feels like a just we have a little bit of time and a little bit of money. Let's have some fucking fun with this. Like it's exactly like that's how this movie has felt every time I've watched it. Like for the I think I've rewatched it like 3 times in the past couple of weeks, and it's each time it's just been a lot of fun. Like I did not expect to be like such a fan of the first Wishmaster after rewatching it, but I did I definitely if you haven't seen it, like check it out. It's like the horror pedigree, the kills, the makeup effects. There's a lot of shit to enjoy in this movie.
Yeah, like if you claim to be a fan of horror and you haven't seen this mashup masterpiece, then you don't even know true horror yet. This is textbook. This is everything you need to know all in one movie.
Yeah, definitely a good primer to like especially like watch this and then a bunch of 80s movies, and then you'll see a shitload of 80s horror people like showing up. Like, I already know all these motherfuckers now.
it is one of the it's just amazing, the entire fucking movie, start to finish. You even get to like the little with the friend zone guy being dead, you get the little ghost flashback jump scares in there when
yeah, zombie tennis. Yeah. The jump scares in this movie are like I don't know, there's some silly ones. There's when Alex first goes to talk to the boozy folklore professor, and that chick shows up right next to her with the mask on and just pops in next to this perfect stranger's face and was like, I just wanted to show my mask to the professor. Like, I don't know who that woman was, but she is an asshole. She knew exactly what she was fucking doing. She goes right next to Tammy Lauren's face and is like, or the jar of eyeballs, the Jin himself, that's a jump scare. Like Alex is like rushing to the auction house for the party or wherever, or the Beaumont house for the party, and she like almost gets into a car accident and like stops and then is like okay, and then the Jin like smashes through a window. And all he does is like say something to her and then kind of like touch her chin a little bit. She drives away. Like he didn't even, and then he just meets her like when she parks. Like he doesn't go. He just pops in for a second to like, oh, I'll fuck with her right, just real quick, like while she's not looking.
And the comedy in this movie, it's fucking hilarious. It's horror, like without a doubt, but it is fucking hilarious and it's intentional. Like it's a funny movie.
There are some of the time, like some of the things the Jin says, like when he's in like the full outfit and everything, or like I got a lot of laughs out of like the blowing his brains out and then that hurt like it or whatever. But then the what is he like? Oh yeah, towards the end, like when he can't get her to make her wish, and he traps her sister like in the painting of the burning house, so her sister is like burning to death forever, I guess, because Alex's parents died in a house fire, and Alex saved Shannon, but she was not able to save her parents, and that's her trauma for the movie. It comes up in like a conversation, I think, like halfway through the thing.
Yeah,
but see, once again, stillness. If you're trapped in a burning building, remember stillness. Okay, just stay still. Things are gonna work out. Take some time, take a deep breath, try to figure out what's fucking stillness. But she's looking at the painting of Shannon like trapped in the burning house, and the Jin is like, what does he say? Like, if you can't beat them, burn them. baby.
baby.
it's the baby that like
Yeah.
just that delivery too that he has that way like every because it's the same as like the Andrew Divoff delivery. It's just a
Yeah.
little more like echoey or sinister or whatever.
Well,
But
that
it's
that Burnham baby is amazing. Or when they're inside the gym there, and when he's sicking the dog's owner, and he looks at him, he's like, he's like, go, like he had to like tell the dog to like just instantly go after. He's like, huh. He's like, hey, he looks down, he's like, go get him. Or when he gets trapped at the end, when he's being sucked into it, that part where it just shows his face all stretched and he's like shaking his head. He's like, ah, like those silly little things that he does is like hilarious. That Burnham baby is probably the best line. That's like Evil Dead, give me some sugar, baby. And he's like, you can't beat them, burn them, baby.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
the
a
delivery.
centuries old like he wants to like kind of like make the dialogue a little modern just so Alex understands like what he's saying. Like he wants her to know that he's being kind of cute about it, so he's
All this stuff he does, like borrowing the phone to get the phone number, and it's like, man, you didn't even have to do that. You can just pop up wherever the fuck you want to. Like, you don't have to find anybody. You should just
yeah
know
like
where they're at.
but yeah, it's part of it. Like he doesn't have to flirt with her sister, but he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
This is all part of the evil.
And the wishes, like just saying the most vain thing counts as a wish. Like
Yeah, it's
when
the
he
most
when he
like random tangential shit.
like when he takes the professor lady's like face, and he's like, do you want something to drink? Are you hot? Or he, like that counts too. Like
Yeah.
like really like, yeah, it is kind of hot. Like, okay, got you.
Can I open a window for you? Oh, that's a wish. That's a fucking wish. Like,
That
come on,
counts.
man. That doesn't count. There's no way that counts. There's no way. I want to see, like, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm curious if it comes up in any of the sequels. Right? I want a scene where somebody just says, it's like, oh, it's a little warm in here, and then the thermostat goes down. I'm like, that's not a fucking wish. That was not a wish. You cannot count that shit as a wish.
You can find the canon rules and the whole stories to all of them, like online. You can watch the video, but
I might have to like dive into that a little, like as we go through these.
the people
I'll
that
try to
made this
pace
video,
myself.
but the people who made this video and what they're counting as canon, what counts as the rules, are just as vague as him and his fucking wishes. I'm like, you're stretching it more than he is, man. Like,
Yeah, it's got to be one of those things, like trying to nail down like the timeline in which year you're in, going through like the Friday the 13th movies. Like, fucking, I don't know. Part 8 takes place in 2023. What? I don't fucking. I don't. It's something like that. I haven't gotten into it yet. But yeah, it's yeah, like just yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor, check out WishMaster. WishMaster is a lot of fun.
and it's everywhere. You can find it. Just search that. You can stream it from anything. Trust me, somebody's got it on the channel all the time.
Yeah. I'll do a little outro thing. I'll let everybody know where they can find it, at least as of the recording and release of this. Oh yeah, just a lot of fun watching this movie, and I'm cautiously optimistic for where we go from here with these.
Well, we'd have to do part 2, man, because it's great, man. It's great. It's got a little less budget, but it still has Andrew and still all the fun to it, and we can keep going with 3 and 4. But 4 is going to be a
While we're doing them, you know, we might as well. I have the Vestron video. Which one does this go? Yeah, the
Yeah,
like all four of them. So while I have we might as well talk about it. Oh dear God, there's wait, part 3 and
yeah,
4 are directed by a guy named Chris Angel. There's no way that's
yeah, yes,
I'm curious about Wishmaster 2 because I've forgotten until I just now looked at it, but it's written and directed by Jack Shoulder, who was he was the director of I believe the right, Alone in the Dark, but like the 80s Alone in the Dark, not the Uwe Boll Alone in the Dark, and then also more famously probably A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
yes.
Jack Shoulder. Actually, yeah, there was one more like effect that I forgot about from the movie that I do want to talk about just for a second, but that burn scene in Wishmaster, that like in the party sequence towards the end, that dude's like fully engulfed in flames and he's like moving around the room a little bit. Like I
Yeah,
think he kind of like moves over here a little and then he goes this way and then jumps through the window. And that's like there's a few different cuts in there, but unless I'm like completely misremembering like the behind the scenes stuff or the commentary, like I think that was like a one take that like he just was burning for that long, like ran over here and then ran over
yeah,
there and then jumped
forever.
again. And that's fucking crazy. That's gotta be like it's gotta be weird doing shit like that, especially if Kane Hodder's on set and you're like, oh, I know what can happen if it goes wrong, man. Fuck.
Yeah, you know, he talked to that guy. You know, he pulled him to the side and was like, "Hey, man, I'll let you know what the fuck you're getting into."
It's like, listen, don't shit the bed on this. Check it
Yeah,
out. I mean, if you gotta have anybody on set doing a burn set, like Kane Hodder's probably the guy you want. It's like
yeah,
if shit goes sideways, let me tell you what I did, and therefore what not to, or what like like he knows the protocol.
yes.
Yeah,
He was probably over that. He was probably over that with that guy.
yeah. There's a great documentary about him called "To Hell and Back." I think I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's on
I watched.
Shutter right now and like Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah, I watched that, man. It was great.
Yeah, that burn effect was. Do you have a favorite kill from the movie?
Oh, favorite kill from the movie. Oh man, that's a tough one. Uh, Next, are you gonna ask me which kid I like the most? uh, oh man, favorite kill from the movie. Ooh, it'd probably have to be the art dealer, man. It'd have to be the art dealer, and that was a great one.
Is that Robert Englund's character?
No, the little pawn shop broker guy that
Oh,
he
that
worked.
guy.
His and actually, it would be my favorite one would be Kane Hodder's death, because when he said I like to see that, like, you know that it's like Jason, and he like puts him there and he takes his time and walks through him and then just shatters him all over the place, and like you get the image of him walking through and Jason just being blown all the fucking shit, and it's like, yeah, like he's sending a message with that kill, like, hey, I'm the new face of horror around here. Like, that one by far is my favorite. The funniest is oh man, they're all hilarious. Him in the drugstore getting the cancer, and the cancer is like the bubbles, and they're just exploding like atomic cancer, like
Yeah,
cancer.
it's
Cancer
like I guess when
like
cancer happens really fast, it's like
yeah, yeah. When you see it like in hyperdrive and the boils and everything, he's just like burning alive. It's like, whoa, like that one was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I honestly I think I have to go. I gotta go Robert England's like because he like he pukes up like it's like a weird little slug thing, but then it's still attached
Yeah,
to him, and then it just kind of it's like this weird fleshy like mound of like skin and blood and veins that's like pulling life out of him, or it looks like his insides are like jumping out of him into like a little pile or something. Oh yeah, and then it has like a weird like vagina thing on the front of it that a tongue shoots out of and tries to grab her. Like what? Like I want to see like what the final stage of whatever he was turning into is. It looked like the monster from The Thing, like halfway through a transformation.
That one was amazing. And Ted Raimi, like out of all the ways you see people die in this movie, Ted Raimi drop a fucking piano on his head, man.
It's such a simple death, but it's like it's so fast and so fun. And what I was saying, like if you recognize Ted Raimi, then you're just already immediately excited. Like, oh, there he is.
and the thought of the construction workers stealing the gem out of the statue, you're like, man, you're literally standing on a crushed man right now. You're just squatting over it like, oh, here's a ruby.
It's like, oh shit.
They've got to be like, and I just want to see him when he walked away, like after he put that in his pocket, just kind of like wipe his feet off as he's throwing the bricks in there. Like, it's like there's a dude crushed, and he's worried about somebody seeing him steal something. He's like, oh, nobody saw that. Let me wipe this guy off my feet.
Yeah, I forget what he says there. It was like, Clay gave me $100. Did I get fucked? She's like, royally.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, WishMaster. It should end with Wish Masterpiece, man. it was perfect.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen it, or you just haven't seen it in a while, definitely check it out. Like I thought I had a specific set opinion about this movie, and then went back and rewatched it, and it's a lot of fun. Like I do see myself watching this movie again in the future. Like it's not something that I'm like, oh, I don't ever want to sit through that again. Like I've done a few movies already for this thing, or like I'm good now. I don't really need to ever see that again. But
and people sleep on it, man. I don't think it gets its just credit like it should.
It's something about those 90s like pre-Scream horror franchises that like it like, and I think it can be easy to kind of lump like Wishmaster in with like Puppet Master or something like that, and just be like, oh, they're all kind of the same quality. But I could safely say like at least the first one, like Wishmaster, is not anywhere near like the crazy low budget level of like a Charles Band kind of thing. Like it's there is a lot, like a pretty good amount of money and also just know-how in this movie. It's just like everything's on screen, and it's all like in those effects. And like if you're not a fan of like gory practical effects, you might not be super into this movie. But if you just love that shit, like you get a lot of carnage candy in this thing. Like it's a lot of fun to just sit there and just like, what are they doing next? I don't know. Oh, all right, Hack. Thank you so much for joining me. Let the people know like what do you have coming up next? Where can people see you if they want to find you on social media or check out Hack's Horror Show? Where do they need to go?
If you hop on Facebook, check out Hack's Horror Show. I'm always on it. I got Twitter, Instagram, shit like that, but I'm almost never on it. I just pretty much use it to throw a flyer out there and let people know. And you can check out Hack's Horror Show on Roku for free. If you got a Roku, plug it up. Hack's Horror Show, go to Add Channel. I'm in the Roku store. You can find it there. I'm also on Vimeo. You can watch it for free on Vimeo, or if you love all kinds of different shows from all kinds of professional wrestlers like Lita, Amy Dumas. She has a UFO show. There's so many. The Good Brothers, man. Carl Anderson and all those guys. Luke Gallows. They got their show all on the
Talking
side.
Shop.
Yeah, all on Asy TV, ASY TV. It's online. It's on every streaming platform. See Hacks Horror Show on Roku. Also, going to be doing Hacks Horror Show live, Hall Cinema 7 in Knoxville, Tennessee, April 10th. We're going to do it live. I got a hearse. I got skeletons. I got some movies. I got a whole bunch of movie projects coming out. I got The Hike that I'm going to be showing there that night. I got 3 parts in this film. The 3 parts, I'm Elvis's towel handler. I'm a wrestler who gets mounted by a guy called Bestiality, and I'm also a monster Indian ghost, if that tells you anything about this movie. And got a few more coming out. Check out Slash and Chill Productions. My boy Jake Perry, he's awesome. Check out Big and Funky Productions, and never drop acid alone, kids. And always watch Hacks Horror Show. And Wayne, it's been a pleasure, man. I always got time for you. No matter how busy I get, man, you call, I am there. I am there.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate it, man. Yeah. If you're in the Knoxville area, check out that live show coming up in a few days. Yeah, we'll put links in the description for the Facebook, the Vimeo. Yeah, if you got a Roku, check that shit out. I'm looking forward to going through this franchise with you, my friend. I'm excited to rewatch Wishmaster 2, and because like I said, I remember that lawyer thing, but everything else is going to be pretty fresh for me, and I'm looking forward to it. Like, especially going in like with the little high I got from watching the first one. I'm looking forward to seeing that goodwill, like how far it carries through the franchise. But yeah, we'll be back soon. We'll be doing Wishmaster 2 together. Yeah, just happy to have you on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be just doing this shit, talking about horror movies with people again.
Fucking A, it was my pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hell yeah, man. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. All the links to Hacks Horror Show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the Vimeo link, all down below. If you're in the Knoxville area, April 10th, Hall Cinema 7, Hacks Horror Show live, socially distanced, I think he's going to be showing a film that he's in. He's going to be showing some clips. He's going to be talking. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you enjoyed this, feel free to, hit the little like thing, hit the subscribe thing. If you didn't enjoy it, you can subscribe and then abuse me every time I put out a new video. Doesn't that sound fun? Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to getting into the good, the bad, and the nerdy of the horror films that I love. Okay, so the next one I'm doing, since I don't know if you could tell from the location of Hacks Horror Show, but I am from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm currently in Knoxville, Tennessee, at least for the next few months. And Knoxville happens to have a mayor who starred in a couple horror films and is also a fairly well-known professional wrestler. So, yeah, I'm going to be talking about Mayor Kane and his film, See No Evil. There is a lot to unpack with that. So, yeah, join me for that. Whew. But until then, just remember, be careful what you wish for, because you might get fucked over and turned into a mannequin. Thank you.